Nestled at the foothills of the Northern Range in Trinidad, between Arima and Sangre Grande, lies the Aripo Savannas. It's the last natural ecosystem of its type in Trinidad and Tobago. The Aripo Savannas is made up of grasslands, marsh forests, and palm marshes. Military bunkers in the Aripo Savanna are reminders of Trinidad and Tobago's World War II history. It was here that the military airbase Fort Reed was constructed.
This is bunker number 5, one of the infrastructure built by the Americans during the occupation in Trinidad. After the World War II, the villagers of Kumuto actually came into here and broke the concrete to get the rebars, what we also know as the concrete of steel. In the village, you would see houses that could be identified with the removal of steel from this building.
While the tranquility and the history of the Aripo Savannas make the area special, what makes it a true national treasure is its vegetation.
Again, we have some species, plant species such as the SUNDEW plant, one of the 2 insectivorous plants, and the other is the bladderworth, another insectivorous plant. And the soil type in the Aripo Savanna is usually mostly sands and silts, which are very, very poor in nutrients. Hence you find that the SUNDEW plant depends on the insect to get all its nutrients.
So far, scientists have identified 457 species of plants in this relatively small area.
Here you have an ecosystem which is dominated by grasses and sedges, but in a natural sort of way. And because of this, you get some very unique species in the Aripo Savannas, which you don't get anywhere else in Trinidad. And in fact, you get some species on the Aripo Savannas which you don't get anywhere else in the world. They are what we call endemic to Trinidad. So they are really our responsibility to conserve.
Some of these species are so rare that they don't even have common names. One orchid variety, the Sotopodium parviflorum, is being studied by the Trinidad and Tobago Orchid Society.
It's endangered orchid, yes, because there are a lot of activities around the savanna which is not really conducive to orchid growth, quarrying and whatever. And it's a unique environment. They grow only in the Aripo Savanna, and it's a very small area. So we have to be very careful with it. In the Aripo Savanna, we have about 1/4 of all the orchid species which grow in Trinidad.
This rich biodiversity of the savannas is one of the main reasons why the area has been protected by law since 1934. It is also a prohibited area under the Forest Act of 1987. However, the area continues to face a number of threats, most of which are a result of human activity.
Well, the Aripo Savanna, although it benefits from various layers of protection through legislation, in 2007 the EMA designated it as an environmentally sensitive area with a special designation as a strict nature reserve. We recognized that there were several impacts which were occurring, including quarrying, clearing of the area for agricultural practices, as well as the event of squatting. So that the EMA felt in 2007 that with its intervention that we can afford a greater control in terms of these impacts which were occurring prior to 2007.
Being a protected area means that human activity is restricted.
Citizens are required to obtain a permit from the National Park section of the division to gain entry into the savannas. So the permit is really a mandated requirement to ensure and track the level of personnel that we want to get into the savannas, so that we can ensure that those rare and threatened species of both flora and fauna are given the adequate protection needed.
The savannas is managed with help from the Aripo Savannas Stakeholder Management Committee. This committee includes more than a dozen representatives from both government agencies and community groups.
The Environmental Management Authority therefore works hand in hand with the Forestry Division to effect protection of the area, the Forestry Division having the principal responsibility for management of the Aripo Savannas. We see this as an administrative responsibility under the Forestry Division, with the EMA's role being more a coordinating one, bringing together the various stakeholders, the government agencies, but also, and more important from our perspective, the community groups that actually live in and around the Aripo area.
SUNDEW has been actively involved in voluntary patrols, trail cleaning, and conservation work in Aripo Savannas. So since 1998 to now, we have been doing a lot of work in there, involved with EMA, Forestry Division, via the National Park section.
The University of the West Indies is another key member of the committee.
So I see our role in the management of the Aripo Savannas in monitoring, researching, gathering data to help support the management, and also helping in the development of educational opportunities. Because in the end, when we want to conserve anything in Trinidad, it has to be relevant to everybody.
It's an issue that resonates with the communities surrounding the protected area, as they stand to gain from ecotourism and other livelihood projects. Therefore, the area's management plan aims to ensure the continued environmental, scientific, and economic benefits of the national community.
The focus going forward, therefore, would be to strengthen the scientific value, but also to add value in terms of ecotourism, training the residents in the area, the community groups in the area, in aspects of tour guiding, as well as understanding the value of the area, so that can be shared. And going forward, we believe that the substitute of tourism activities, ecotourism activities, will see the community groups buying into this new approach, which will result in longer-term protection and sustainability of the Aripo Savannas.
The EMA understands the need for the conservation of this majestic landscape. That's why the Aripo Savannas is considered a model ESA.